Are you in New York right now, as you mentioned?
Yeah, I'm here for a few days before going to Edmonton.
And so, just talking back in time to when you were a kid, what's your background in music, and when did you say to yourself, "Hey, I want to do this. This appeals to me."
Well, I was around 6, and my dad is a saxophone player, so I grew up hearing him and seeing him teaching at home and practicing all day since I was a kid. So there was really, I always felt drawn by the sound of the instrument since I was very young. It's something that I can't really explain, but I still feel that connection now as I grow older. There's something about the sound that has always intrigued me and felt make me feel very connected to the instrument itself.
Sounds like you had it in the genes, to say the least. This whole thing, almost like a spiritual thing handed down. And it's fascinating because it said that a lot of the best players make the instrument sound like it's having a conversation with the audience. I think of Charlie Parker, for example. Do you feel that that applies in your case?
To me, more the conversation with the audience is more about just having an experience on the stage, and whatever that experience being able to share with the audience. So to me, it's more about that, having a conversation with the band and creating a story that you are basically narrating to the audience as time goes by.
It's fascinating because what you're doing in this instance is you're actually somebody else is taking your work when you come to Edmonton, that is, to play. Allan Gilliland, who's a renowned composer and arranger based here and producer as well, but he's taking your work and arranging it for a big band. How does that affect the experience?
Even though the experiences are very different from band to band and from people to people, like we are people, every time you talk to a different person, it's just different.
Hmm.
So to me, like every experience, I kind of approach it in the same way, even though they're different themselves, but they're not that different. To me, every time it has to do with just opening yourself to the experience, whatever that is. Of course, if it's your band, it's a place where you feel very comfortable, but maybe if it's not your band or it's not a situation where you feel comfortable, it's like, how can you learn from the experience? So to me, every experience is teaching you the same, which has to do with being able to learn about yourself as you experience that.
I hear you. Yeah. So, and the fascinating thing about this is that basically the arranger is taking one of your pieces. It's a bit like somebody taking your baby and giving it a makeover, and things could go terribly sideways there. Do you get to peek into the back room to see what's happening with your piece as it's being arranged, or does the arrangement come sort of on the night and you just get into the moment?
Yeah, it's sort of come on the night, and to me, like there's a beauty about the unknown. I realize that part of going deeper has to do with letting go and accepting things as they are, the same as you grow as a person. Um, so to me, like just being open to experience and everyone ideas is kind of a beautiful experience itself. So I learned how to not have expectations and really learn and appreciate every experience and everyone's point of view from my music, which is really interesting to hear how people hears my music.
Yeah, and speaking of experiences, you're about to release a new album, Echoes of the Inner Prophet. Comes out April
Yes.
5th. Yeah, and you're in the midst of touring. Is there something, I mean, aside from playing music, that you'd like to try accomplish that maybe you haven't yet?
There's a lot of things I'm trying to accomplish, but they don't really have to do with career, or like
Hmm.
the stage. It has to do with sound. It has to do with developing myself as a musician. So I kind of need a career, and I kind of need like to release albums to let that process go. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's not really about that. And to me, there is like so much to accomplish that I don't even know what is the one thing. It has to do with sound. Like every time I practice and I go deeper and discover something new about sound, about time, and about like how to express that emotion. To me, there's a technical part side of music where you practice and you learn about the music, but there's a mystical side, that which has to do with when you hear Wayne Shorter or when Coltrane, they play that one note, that one frequency that just touches you and it transports you to a different place. So what is that in music? So I think that to me, I'm in the search of that. Like, what is the sound? What is the time feel? How do you connect with those ideas that are within you, that come from tradition and come from everywhere else, but it's about you.
and bringing
So I
that
think there's a
sound.
life and many more lives to explore.
Mm.
That one thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think music must be the most abstract of all art forms, and that we can be touched by something and we're not quite sure why. And I think that this
Yeah.
particular applies to instrumental music, where we're moved by a Stravinsky piece, for example, and harkening back to jazz, as you mentioned, Wayne Shorter, just hitting the
Yeah.
sweet spot on with a soprano sax. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, that to me it's mystical, you know, like as much as you practice, and I learned this through teachers, as much as you try to teach or explain something, there is a mystical element that to me has to do with the search of finding that yourself within music, you know?
Well, Melissa Adana, we look forward to finding you in Edmonton working with the Don Berner Big Band. It'll be an amazing show.
Thank you.
When you travel, what do you take with you? What do you have to have? I mean, apart from your horn.
Aside from my home, well, I'm usually taking a very heavy portable keyboard that you can fold.
Okay.
I've been trying to ride on the road. I take a bullet to make my smoothies and a bunch of vitamins. Yeah, I travel a lot, so one of my missions is to always trying to make myself feel like home everywhere I go. So I usually travel very prepared with things that I may want.
Gotcha. A smoothie will do that.
The smoothie and the keyboard and my vitamins. That's all I need.
There you go. Well, here's to good health and have a great show.
Well, thank you for the fun talk.
Take care, Melissa. Thanks for taking the time today.